tonight. It is the last day of July. I think it's July 31st. I just finished my chores for the night and I'm just walking through my garden, and I thought I would just take my camera out and record. So this is year 2 in this garden. I think it hit 102 degrees today. I honestly have not been in my garden very much, so it doesn't look great at the moment. But I just wanted to show everything I'm growing so that I have reference for next year. All right, so I'm gonna get started with the first row. This year I added, let's see, 1, 2, 4. I added 2 additional rows to the back over here, and then I added 2 rows over here on the far side, which I'll show you. Those are kind of more my cut flowers. And then this year we also added some perennial like fruits, like berries and stuff. So first things first, this first row, I've got cabbage, which is way past its prime. I should have picked it quite a while ago. Tomatillos, these are all volunteer. They came up from last year. And then down here I had broccoli and cauliflower, which I ended up just letting it go to seed because it started getting way too hot. And so I figured I could at least save the seeds from it. The next row back is kind of like my tomato row. Right here I've got tomatoes, and then way down here, onions. I have cherry tomatoes growing here, catching rainwater in there. I've got a Cosmo planted in between almost each tomato over here. I noticed that they're definitely competing. And then down over here, I've got an okra that is really small, not doing anything. And then onion. The next row, I have, again, the exact same thing. I have tomatoes in this row, marigolds, and cosmos. Most of the tomatoes in this row are Roma, and I think I have a couple porters. My porters did not do great this year. My Romas did pretty good, and then my cherry tomatoes are still producing and doing really good. In this row, again, I have flowers like in between everything, and you can see like this Cosmo is huge. It's not flowered yet. It's my only one that hasn't flowered, but then my tomato plant is tiny and it's not happy. Its leaves are really brown. It's stressed. I'm not sure why. I'm sure because it's competing, it's kind of stressed, or there's something wrong with the soil. I did fertilize a couple weeks ago, so it may also be something with that. And then I've got a Cosmo and a marigold and another Cosmo, and you can see these have gotten really decent size. And then tomato, again, this one's really small, and then Cosmo, more Cosmos, 2 more Cosmos here. I have an okra growing, another Cosmo, another tomato, Cosmos, and then more tomatoes. So my tomatoes in this row were not doing good. I ended up finding like a couple of those huge hornworms on them, and it was way too late by the time I saw them. So they decimated like a couple of my plants. So there's not really like much you can do for that except be more vigilant. So I'll have to remember that for next year. My next row is my pepper row, and they're not doing great. They produced a little bit, but not very much. So down here I have a crushed pepper. This is one I got from the store. I'm gonna end up saving the seeds from that one so we can have that next year because I did really like that. I've got marigolds. I did try to plant 2 more things here, which didn't take. I think I had like a jalapeno and a sweet pepper. Anise, I'm letting go to seed to save the seeds. This one is, I think, just a bell pepper. Another bell pepper, marigold, okra. My okra was doing really good, and then it got so hot, which I thought that they liked the heat, which they may, and I just needed to water it more. I'm not sure, but it kind of stopped producing. Marigolds, and then down here I have banana peppers. So that is the 4th row, and that's all the rows that I had last year. These next everything I'm going to show you from here on out, I added this spring. My next row, I have planted some peas, which are totally dead. I have not ripped them out yet. I've got garbanzos up that I also have not ripped out. They have a few pods on them that I'm going to leave until, you know, I probably should pick them off tonight because we have rain coming in and I'm wanting to save those seeds. So let's see if the garbanzos are ready to be picked off to save the seeds. It looks like some of these seeds are definitely ready to come off. They're very dry. So I'm actually probably gonna go ahead and pick some of these off just because we do have rain coming in tonight. And I wanna make sure, oh, there's nothing even in that one. I wanna make sure that I do get to save some if the rain ends up messing them up. I don't really know how that works. I'm still a newbie in all of this. I'm covered in spider webs, and if you know me, I am like really afraid of spiders. The garden has been very humbling in that aspect because I come across huge spiders all the time. It's kind of been exposing me to them to ease my fear. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself. Anyways, this row is my bean row. Peas were here. Like I said, they are totally dead. Garbanzo beans are half dead. I haven't even really gotten anything off of them this year. I for sure need to plant more. I'm planning on planting more of this in my fall garden. Sunflower. This sunflower got really big. Oh, really, it didn't get that big because it's not taller than me. But it shot out a bunch of heads. And then, past the sunflowers, I have beans, green beans and pinto, which some of these are way past due. The garden has kind of gotten to the point where it's really hot. I'm not really expecting things to continue growing, so I don't come out to check, which is terrible. So at this point, I'm just taking it as, I'll save the seeds. So green beans, I'm gonna plant more of these in my fall garden. Tomorrow we have a cold front moving through. Today it was, I don't know if I said this already, but today it was 100 and, yeah, got up to like 102 degrees here, which is hot. We are in like the dog days of summer for Oklahoma. And we have a cold front coming through tonight. It's gonna rain tonight, drop the temperatures down. I think the high tomorrow is 86. So I'm very excited for that. And tomorrow, the plan is plant our fall garden, my mom and I. A little bit farther down this row, I've got my, I think these are called dwarf sunflowers. Very pretty. The head on them is really big. And they really only come up to my knee. They're not huge, but the head on it is really big, so it's super pretty. Also down here, I have squash. I have spaghetti squash and then just zucchini, which is really taking a hit. The bugs on it are terrible. I've been at war. They've laid eggs, they've hatched. It's a mess. But I did get a couple of zucchini this year. Last year, we got a ton of zucchini off of our zucchini plants. This year, I only got 2 zucchini off of one of my plants. The other one did not thrive, didn't make it. My spaghetti squash got 0 off of it, but I have 1 growing. It's still too small to harvest, but the plant looks terrible. I don't think it's gonna make it. Right there, there it is. We'll see. This is the plant it came off of, which it looks like it's trying to start another one here, but the main one that it's attached to is not looking good. Okay, it's getting dark. I need to go a little bit faster. Over here, I've got my pumpkins and cucumber and watermelon down over here. I've got 2 watermelon coming up on 2 different plants. I'm sorry, not watermelon, cantaloupe. I've got 2 cantaloupe coming up on 2 different plants. One there, one back over there. Watermelon plant there. I don't see any watermelon on it yet. Over here, I planted pumpkin, which there are also those disgusting bugs on them, so I don't honestly think those will make it. And then I planted just a couple more little sunflowers down over here that they're small. They're not going to get big like these ones. I think because the ground isn't great over here. So basically last year I was pregnant. I planted what I could in the first 4 rows just to work on the soil because this is a brand new house. The soil is really bad and rocky. So those first 4 rows are much better this year, but these new ones that I've added on are not so good. So honestly, I've just been planting stuff just to plant stuff. And in these last couple rows, I've been like I've just thought, you know, if I get something from it, great. If not, it'll at least, the roots will kind of hopefully help work the soil. That's been my thought around it. But I was trying to make this like my melon and pumpkin patch area, and it hasn't taken off great. So now we're on the right side of my garden. Down over here I've got a mulberry plant, which I just planted this year. I bought this little start at the farmer's market, my local farmer's market. So she said this was a cut from a wild elderberry on the woman's property that I bought it from, which I thought would be perfect because the plant is already used to this environment, you know, this Oklahoma weather. Over here I have 3 thornless blackberry plants. Just planted those this year. I've only gotten like 3 blackberries off of them. I know that it'll get better over time. Over here I've got my little strawberry patch. What I did over here was I took the extra from my mom's house. She had a lot of extra shoots growing that she did not want. So I went over and rated it. It looks like I took 9 of her plants. Only 5 of them made it over here. But they all have little shoots coming off of them. I'm gonna let them do their thing, and I want this whole area to be a strawberry patch. Right over here, I've got 2 raspberry plants. Those also came from my mom's house. She had 2 shoots that came up, and she gave them to me. And then on the left side of the garden, I have cut flowers, corn, and cucumber. It's getting dark, so I'm gonna pick it up. I've got corn growing over here, not looking great. Cucumbers, giving me a lot of cucumbers, very grateful. But they're also coming to an end. On the other side of that, this bed is just extremely grown up. Everything I've tried to plant here doesn't take. Don't know what's going on. So I'm planning on ripping this fabric out and using it in the fall and just kind of, I guess, retilling. The grass is super tall over here, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. Honestly, I need to make the separation between these 2 wider so I can get a mower in between it. So I need to do that. Over here are my cut flowers, zinnias and dahlias I've got growing. And it is just getting way too hot for them. They're not doing great, especially my dahlias. They are not liking it. Zinnias, however, are actually looking pretty good. I'm probably gonna let quite a few of those go to seed once they get towards the end of their cycle so that they can reseed all over here. I've got amaranth planted, and then giant McKenna. Giant McKenna, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. I don't know what they look like, and they are not flowering at all. They just look like that. I've fertilized them. They're just not happy here. And then I have sunflower. I just planted some sunflower a couple weeks ago at the very end of this bed. That's everything I have. I also have a fig tree. I have a fig tree that I planted. It is tiny. It's probably gonna take years to come up, but it's better than nothing. And then down here a little bit further, I have got asparagus going in that tall section there. Need to weed eat it. I'm sure it's not too happy, but I've got it planted. It's going. It is what it is. You know, I have a 10-month-old, and it's just kind of like, you do what you can do. And what gets done gets done. What doesn't, it doesn't. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. I need to go put the chickens up. My chicks that I got this year just started laying eggs. Well, I guess not my Easter eggers, but my Silky just started laying her eggs. So I was very excited. The Easter eggers should not be far behind. And then my chicks that went broody have also finally started laying eggs again. So, thanks for watching this video. I'm gonna go finish my chores, go inside for the night, cool off, and we'll see you next time. Bye.